usually very paranoid about that. But anyways,
Yeah.
okay, it's game number 2, guys. You did not catch the first one because reasons, Fear Dragon. Just kidding.
Uh,
Uh, but it is game number 2. We are in Overgrowth, and I am Zombie Grub, and with me is Fear Dragon. So in the top right, this is going to be the red Protoss, CJ's herO.
and his opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, it is going to be Yo Flash Wolf San. Um, Zombie Grub, you want to talk
Yes.
about what's happening?
Oh, do I? Okay, so proxy gate, yeah. Oh, damn it.
Control Shift C. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Control. No. Oh no, that's on the W6 EU interface. Shoot. You can hide the chat on some interfaces, which I think is like something that should be enabled for every observer interface.
That does do something though. I'm very confused with what it does. Takes away the team
Oh,
names.
it removes cast like the clan names.
Cool. Well, hopefully he's not a true spammer. He just was annoying that one time. But this
Yeah.
is bound to happen when you don't regulate. Anyways, hopefully it's not a big deal. So, proxy gateway, and only one gateway. I mean, sometimes we see two gateways, which is less common. I mean, for more than a year, I think it's been less common in PvP. But usually, like a Cyberx core, right? And then you actually go for a stalker. But just
Yeah.
one gateway, he's gonna put it at home, of course. But
Mhm. Yeah, Cybernetic Core probably going to be coming down. I mean, he's grabbing that gas geyser and planting down that second pylon back at home. But yeah, we'll have to see when San actually decides to scout because
yeah.
he scouted. He has like this pylon planted up on the top side. I'm not sure if
Ooh,
that's a. Let me just double check my base for proxies,
he sees it.
or oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So how do you feel this usually ends up going though, right? Because the first Zealot's still going to be out, and San Zealot's going to be a bit further behind. But I mean, I don't feel like he's in the worst position right now.
I, yeah, I don't know. He scouted that it was one gateway, right? So he knows it's not very dedicated. And it isn't very dedicated, you know? If it gets a couple of probes, it
Yeah.
probably, doesn't really pay for itself, technically, but at least it pays for maybe one or two zealots.
Oh,
Oh,
surround!
oh, just kill a probe where you're at it! No! Okay,
Oh,
that was great. That was great for San right there. Another one does pop out, and he's still continuing with the Stalker, but it is a gateway that is going to die and is not going to be helpful later on. You know, that's
oh.
not going to do minerals. And that's another surround with great micro on the probes. I forgot to mention, guys, that San is up 1-0. My bad. So
Mhm.
this is actually really important that herO even tried to do this, first of all, but that San is doing so well in defending against it. Only one probe went down, and, in a regular game, that would be a scouting probe.
Yeah, and look at this. Now Stalker's out, so it's going to be able to chase around these Zealots, but I mean, the Mothership Core for Sun is just walking across the map, Zombie Grub. This
Ooh.
is one of those very hit or miss situations. If herO just moves back with one of his Stalkers, he could just actually kill that Mothership Core if he doesn't have enough energy for a recall.
Yeah,
But also,
but
he's not going to have enough energy for Photon Overcharge. Well, I guess he doesn't need it.
he's gonna try and go for a 3 gate after this. I mean, this is getting more and more all in as it goes. But this means that he absolutely needs to keep this low ground. Now, he'll if he has to, he'd bring another probe and obviously continue the attack. But that's one warp gate that well, it's depowered for a long time.
Yeah, here's the awkward situation now, though, because there's no anti-air back at herO's base. Mothership now harassing the probe. herO kind of frantically saying, "Well, I guess I just stop mining with these probes until they regenerate the shields until the stalkers get there." But this mothership, it can actually just recall out as soon as the stalkers actually get there.
Yeah, and he did give up positioning on the that that gateway. So Solomon doesn't know it, but he will once he sees the stalkers are back home. Obviously, nothing was warped in. Nothing
Yeah.
is warp gates yet. So, oh, does he scout the Stargate? Just barely misses the Stargate. I wonder what this is going to be for. An Oracle for maybe surprise kills. You don't usually see pro gamers go for Void Ray all-ins anymore, unless his name's MC. That's also an option.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be really problematic for herO, though, right? Because you look at Sans base, he has 3 warp gates now being completed. He has a Twilight Council. He's going for a Dark Shrine. Oh, man. Okay,
Oh, go ahead.
this could still work out okay for herO, maybe. I mean, if he gets out an Oracle, he can still have detection for the DTs. and that may kind of be like a sunk cost that Son kind of loses out on. But still, right now, Son has more units.
Yeah, basically equal production. So
Mhm.
at this point, what do you really do? You give up your gateway. You're down to two gateways.
Oh,
You don't even have a militia
oh.
core, so like a cannon's not going to protect the nexus you're going to put up.
Mhm. I feel like Son can actually just move in. He's going to be able to pick off at
Yeah.
least one of these stalkers. Force field goes down, makes a very awkward retreat path for these stalkers of herO. Zealots warp in for herO though, and this may be enough to actually push Son back for at least a little bit until the next warping round is done. Ooh, loses the sentry though.
Yeah. I keep forgetting he didn't go for Blink, he went for a Dark Shrine, but either one is going to be helpful. We did
Yeah.
see earlier today, if you were here for the beginning of the cast, herO just GG'd. He went for a Stargate, it was possible to get an Oracle, and instead he tapped out once there was a DT. And I strongly believe it was because he realized he couldn't protect both sides. He was, applying pressure to a person who was ahead in a Nexus, and he had to defend his own base, right? And Oracle is only good at covering one location, and then it runs out of energy. It's bad, but I think herO
Oh.
actually saw the Shimmer.
Yeah.
That's some keen
I
eyes right there.
I'm almost certain he did, and
Yeah.
that's going to be one big difference because that gives him time to build a robotic facility. But I would really like to see an Oracle start.
Well, it did.
Or actually, no, he already has one. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what really affirmed that he saw that. He immediately pulled it back, so, It was only
yeah.
one DT. It really shouldn't have killed him, but it could have done so much damage on either side, really, if an Oracle was not in position automatically, so... Easy cleanup right there, but not very dedicated from Sun. He realizes that the Nexus is just slightly bit ahead, but it really only is slightly, and... Does
Mhm.
this equalize? I don't know. herO did lose an entire gateway, so his production isn't really powerful.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of weird defense over here for herO. I mean, he does have fewer stalkers, but I mean, very soon he's also gonna have photon overcharge. Just needs to buy time to make sure that Nexus doesn't actually end up getting killed off. But at the end of all this, it kind of equalizes in the sense that they both are able to take expansions, which is definitely a really big point in PvP. When you can take those expansions, suddenly the game can go much, much longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually we see like a choice, kind of like TV in TVT, where one person does expand to a third base, another person decides they don't want to go to that game, where they see an opportunity,
Hmm.
and they go for a two base all in that isn't an all in if you do enough damage, and then you expand yourself, right? Kind of the same thing in both mirror matchups. A lot less nowadays, especially since PvP as a whole is a lot less common. I mean, used to be every single match once upon a time. But we actually have not maybe waiting for the third base to be put down, but just a plain old, like, I have production of Blink Stalkers, and you don't have that big of an army. But Force Fields, Immortals, I don't know if you really want to blink into this army yet as San, but he does! Oh! No Zealots to really,
And
like, stop him from doing that, so I guess it was the better move, but is it not going to be worth it? Is it? I don't know.
well, Blink's back off cooldown, so he's doing some good Blink micro against these stalkers, but Photon Overcharge has an exceedingly large range. He's losing a lot of the stalkers, but I mean, herO's going to be out of stalkers pretty soon. One of the big concerns,
that
though,
was
is
worth it.
the proxy pylon. Yeah, definitely killing off more of everything than herO actually really has.
If he could hold on against the army, he did actually, kill at least a couple of probes. The probes are still even, but I don't know if he can. He really needs to protect that immortal, but they can just blink on top of it. Oh, they used their blink! This might be very helpful for that immortal. This is actually, I don't know about game-changing, but yeah, a little. I mean, he actually pushes this back because that immortal didn't go down immediately. It didn't go down at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a really, really nice win, but I also want to know, like, herO had to pull a lot of probes. Also note he's not mining from that natural expansion. Sun is at least starting to, so, I mean, having 30 probes, he's going to have, like, a very small economic advantage just in terms of production.
But that Oracle is still around, and it can get these probes at the natural if Son isn't paying attention. There is a chance to equalize here with,
Yeah.
harassment. It's already starting.
And actually,
2, 3?
Photon Overcharge in the natural. He doesn't have enough Photon for Photon Overcharge in the main, so that's going to force a warp in back at home. That's going to be a nice kind of win in and of itself for herO. Oh my god, is Warp Gate down? Oh, I think he can't warp in right now.
Oh, the Immortal is blinked upon. There's not nearly as many Stalkers there were last time, but it does go down fast enough, but not... Actually, no, it isn't. The last two Blink Stalkers, or regular Stalkers from herO, are enough to push San back, and his probes aren't mining. They finally go back to mining. It looks like the Oracle did die, so he doesn't have to worry about it anymore, but he is actually down in probes now, and herO survives. He actually is in a Oh, better position. Yeah,
Wow.
go ahead. Say that.
Yeah, no kidding. I Yeah, I guess Son going in for that attack, he's gonna go back in, and I mean, this is kind of what you want to do with Blink Sarkis, but he's been doing so many forward blinks.
Mm.
I like this tactic kind of a little bit more in a situation. You know, go for the kind of guaranteed damage and then blink out. Don't overcommit at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's no saying how much of a equalizer that Oracle was. That was looking quite desperate
Oh
because
yeah.
he had to use so many probes, and that Immortal not
hmm
being blinked upon immediately was so key too. Just a couple of lucky breaks that were missing out in the beginning of this tournament, which is why I think herO's in the, in the losers bracket. But they're finally kicking in. Now, this actually isn't the last match to be qualified, I believe. There's only one person coming from the losers qualifier, so this goes into basically you can kind of call it a semifinal because the winner of that is actually who qualifies.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is very much a semi or like a this is like very much a semifinals in that sense because yeah, there's only
Somewhat of a finals.
two two matches left over, right? Yeah,
Right.
something like
Someone
that.
faces Classic, right? Did he win versus Parting?
hmm
Right, and then whoever wins that is the one that continues on. So this is actually getting a little bit awkward too. I don't know what we're gonna do at this point. Usually Rifkin is starting to get prepped for his own cast, but he might let me finish out this one. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, just keep me updated on that, and we'll wait and see. For now, we can just focus on the game, I guess. San going for a little bit of a scout just to see exactly what herO's composition is. One of the big things that he's going to be scouting for is, have you started Colossus production yet? And oh my god, using the Force Field trying to trap the Zealot actually gets away. Oh, it's going to get killed by the Stalker. But yeah, you really want to keep an eye on that Immortal count and see, okay, have you started Colossus production yet? And that's actually going to be starting pretty soon as the robotics phase is about halfway done.
Yeah. We have an interesting dynamic where they're going for basically two compositions here. We got Robotics Bay and a Templar Archives.
hmm
You can't like one doesn't necessarily favor the other. It depends a lot about like actually how engagement goes, right? Because technically Colossus will take care of the charge lots, which usually go along with the Archons, but then the Archons are so buff that maybe they get underneath. I mean, yeah. So we'll see, and we'll see especially if anyone decides to go for that. Do they both go for three bases, or for instance, does San attack right now after seeing that herO took his own third base?
Yeah. herO does still have that Oracle alive and has actually been keeping an eye on San's army as well. I don't think he has not seen the Templar Archives though just quite yet, so may not be fully aware of exactly the kind of tech that San is going for. But the Oracle's not going to be moving in, and I think I don't know. It's really hard to say. A lot of the programmers do have a much better sense of kind of like the smaller timings, but okay. It's good enough. He throws Revelation down on the Temple Archives. He should have a pretty good idea of what's going on. And I think that herO's going to be probably the more defensive one for now. Because if you can get up the Colossus count to a pretty healthy number, generally I always feel like the Colossus player can feel a little bit more comfortable against the Templar Archives or like Charge Lot Archon player.
San is taking a rather long time compared to herO to get his own third base. What he
Mhm.
might get his own, but I would definitely expect at least an attempt at a push here. I mean, he is actually an entire base up right now as herO's does finish.
I I'm almost wondering if he's just gonna go for it on two base. I mean, again, I always feel like the Templar Archives or like Charge Lot Archon does better when they're in lower numbers, when the Colossus count is not so high that it just murders all your charge lots. And he's moving across the map. He has a couple of Immortals mixed in to deal with the Stalkers or help deal damage to the Colossus. This could very well work out.
Nice little high Templar, stop the Oracle from doing any more continued damage like that. There's two Colossus, so I mean the Zealots. I won't go down really all that fast, to be honest. And this really just comes down to what is the micro going to look like, and does herO maybe give up the third? Like, does he see an opportunity, well, not to win basically, or what? And I'm looking at his army, and I'm like, it's actually looking pretty good. It's looking okay. I don't know if San can
Well,
confidently take on this Nexus and get away. And then, yeah, he just runs. Oh, but a big warp into
yeah,
the
get all those
main.
Immortals. Oh, that is a nice distraction over there. Photon
Oh.
Overcharge used over there, but actually, he's gonna lose that Nexus.
Yeah, he is, and there's still nothing being warped in, so he might lose some other important key structures. An observer comes out because there's a DT in there. The warp prism should have been, maybe the first thing to be focused, because continued warp ins can happen. I mean, he didn't get the
Oh
third base, but he
god.
got a base.
He's going to lose the robotics ability. That's going to halt any and all Colossus
that's what I was
production for the next
worried.
couple of minutes. Colossus coming back home to defend, but I mean, over the third, we end up seeing San's just going to be going for it. He murders the Zealot count of herO, and he's going to continue charging on through.
Yeah, and the Immortals just really aren't helping, of course, targeting a lot of those Zealots are not what they want to be doing here, but he just barely holds on. Good micro into the choke where the Archon started to get funnel in right there. The War Prism isn't exactly cleaned up. It does live, but at least the units it may get cleaned up. But the Robo and the Nexus went down, and herO, well, he's way too busy microing and, you know, protecting his other base to remember... Maybe I need to put down a Robo again. I do believe he went to a Templar Archives of his own, so it's not like he's without good units. You know, doesn't make Archons of his own, but... You know, eventually they want to go into Colossus Wars. Both of them, actually, although San did not go for a third base. He's just long distance mining right now.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering right now if San is thinking, okay, well, at this point, I've killed off my opponent's main base, but that wasn't really, like, a big source of mineral income. It was a source of, like, gas income, of course, but I still feel like there's a big timer on him that he kind of has to worry about, unless he's going to take that third expansion really, really late, or snipe off this third.
Yeah. I was worried there might be any more observers without a Robo, but there are two. Loving the War Prism drops.
Center line!
Oh, don't do that. But the Immortals are dropped on top. They are actually targeting the Stalkers. There they go, targeting the Colossus. This is an awesome move to do, but unfortunately, San's army just disappeared otherwise, and there's nothing else to help those Immortals. And without a third base and losing all of his army like that, that's got to be game. There's an observer literally right above you, herO. Just use that one. Come on, buddy. Alright, there.
Yeah, and suddenly now, herO looking very good, and so good, he's actually going to take game number 2.